Hi there, I'm May Blythe, and I just found this really cool game. I think the Japanese name is Tandoku on o Sete shite, but I think the English name is OTOing CV. I don't know where that name came from. But anyway, um, it's a lot of fun if you're into some really fiddly stuff and listening really hard. But the problem is that I don't think there's a scoring system and it's supposed to be community based, but I don't know where you upload everything to get a score. So if you're into racking up points and competing, this probably isn't going to be really fun. So the game actually has a launcher and it's called UTAU or something. And there are tons of tutorials out there on how to get the launcher. Okay, whatever. How to get the launcher up and running. So anyway, there are some bugs in addition to the scoring system not being set up, and that's that the it will tell you should save your save file in your program files, but unless you have administrative privileges, it will delete your save file because it's not allowed to update anything in program files. So make sure you don't save your save file in program files. Now to pick your save file, you just go to here and click here, and there is an English patch, but I've never installed it. Now you can choose by clicking here and that'll pull down a drop down, but I like to choose this, which will open a file dialog where you can pick your save file. Now you press OK, and there is another bug I didn't mention. When you click here to start the game, if you click anything other than OK, if you click this, or if you click this, it will delete all of the changes to your save file. So if you've been working on it for a little while, just have this open, because this is where you play the game. You close this and then press OK, and it'll save your progress as long as your save file isn't in the program files. Alright, so I'm not sure which one will get you more points when the points are set up, but there are two different ways to deal with this. So this way is pretty okay, but there's a feature that will make the vowels work differently, and I'm not sure which will get more points. So a lot of people like to do this and move this over here, and during the gameplay in UTAU, instead of the gameplay in Tandoku o Sete shite, you will be able to use this, and for a lot of people that's better because of how it works. But there are different levels, like I think the other level is called Renzoku o Sete shite, and for that, the way it originally was, like this, is how you'd want it to be. But like I said, I don't know how the point system is going to work, so I don't know which one is right. Now this is really cool because when you're using, I don't know the word for it, I think it's hiragana banks as opposed to nomaji banks. All of the vowels and stuff are at the very beginning, and that's awesome because they're confusing. I mean, they're not confusing to do if you know what you want, but if you don't know what you want, then you don't know how to do it, and I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'll just show you that there are two options. Now, this bank is a little hard to get points for because it's so tiny, so you can't really see what's going on, but you can go like this and make it bigger. So this, it says ooh, e up here, but that's a fancy way of writing wee. So I'll come back to this because I'll start out by showing you something that's really easy to figure out how to get right and how to score points for. So you open this and you'll see that this person did a good job and a bad job. So let's talk about the good job. So the first thing they did was they came over here and cut out all the silence and when it was getting quieter, because having any silence or it being quieter will deduct points from your score, and that's not very fun. And here's another thing they did right. The pink right here goes to where the vowel is pretty stable and the pitch line is also stable, and you'll lose points if you have the pitch here because the pitch line isn't stable. So you pull this over here. And if it was getting louder, you lose points if you put it before the vowel was where it was going to stay for the most part. Here's another thing. This is the consonant and it's a plosive, ka. Now when you say ka, you can hear that there's some silence here. And the green line being far away from this means that there will be a pause, just like when you're talking normally, and that will get you points, and that is awesome. Now let's press this button. This is the spectrogram, and if you want maximum points, you need to use a spectrogram, but it's a little hard to understand. But basically, what you do is you look for the consonant, and the consonant looks different than the vowel. And you need to find the perfect place. This one is hard because it sounds like they messed up a bit. Yeah, it's not telling how much. Sorry. It's a little awkward. And you can press play to hear what's going on. But it looks like the vowel is relatively stable right here because this starts to look all the same and different from this. So that looks like it's about right. And here is another one. This one got points for cutting out the silence and the quiet at the end. And they got points for making the green far away from the plosive. But let's see how well they did with this red line. And these recordings aren't the best because you can see it takes a while for them to go from being a little weird to being completely vowel. So you can't, I think some of the points you get actually come from the recordings and not just I think it's called the sete, the stesta, or something like that. So it's a little difficult to get it perfect. I think when they have it set up so you can do it online, a lot of people who were competing for points would all be doing the same bank, and that'd be really silly. Not bank, the same save file. So you can see again, this one is so quiet. And I think she'd lose some points because this pitch line is going down a bit. So I'd move that there. so that I wouldn't lose points. And I might move this a little farther back. And then I move that here. And as you can see, the vowel is a lot better. So maybe move this a little back and then move this here. And I really wish they had the point total set up so I could see exactly how good this was, because I think I'd be getting maximum points for this one in specific. But anyway, that's with something that's easy to see. K and G, which are both plosives, so they act the same way. Something that a lot of people don't know about when playing this game is that these are pronounced differently by Japanese people and Americans. So the configuration might look a little wonky depending on who was recording it. But it's always a good idea to put it where the vowel starts looking like a vowel. For Americans, that will be a really long time, so a lot of people like to do it in a way that might lose you points. And that's for Q, Ga, Gu, and what's other ones? Bia, Bia. Anyway, so what I just showed you is basically the same for all plosives. And the way you remember that is you make a pause before the consonant. So a, kya, a, ba. There's a pause in plosives. So if you remember that and you put the green far enough away, you'll get plenty of points. Anyway, so we don't have to look at any more ka, ba, da, ta. We can go straight to S, which I'm not sure, but I think it's a fricative, but you can treat it like a liquid, which is like, it's a cat. Nah, you can treat it like a liquid even though it's not. And what that means is that instead of having 5 different types of samples, you'd only have 2, plosives and liquids. So let's look at sa. And right here, you can see she's going to lose some points on this sample, and it's really hard to see that. So let's see if this is much better. Again, she will lose some points for this being so quiet, but let's look at this. So, she would lose some points because what you really want to happen is for this blue section, when you have the liquids and the fricatives, you want the blue section to be touching the liquid or the fricative, just because you don't want there to be any silence before it, because that would mess with something that you might learn later on when you're playing with the UTAU program instead of the Sete game. So everything from here will blend, everything before this green line will blend in with the noise before it, which is a vowel for Japanese for the most part. So you just want to make sure that there's enough of it here so that you can hear it without being blended in, but you also want enough blended in so that it isn't abrupt and choppy. So let's click here, and this looks like about the right place because you can still see a little bit of staticky stuff here, and everything beyond it looks pretty normal. So that's how you deal with liquids, which are really fricatives, but now this one is confusing because this looks a lot like that S sound, the sh sound we just looked at, but it's a plosive. And I'm not really sure how to explain it other than, okay, I'm going to use some fancy words. G is the palatalization of T. So that means that when you say T, you pull your tongue back really fast. So G. And because it is a derivative of T, and you would say, I want cheese. You don't say, I can't even do it to show you how to improperly say ch. But a cheese, you can hear that pause between the A and the ch. So that makes sense. Now, so I've explained all of the plosives and I've given you an idea of fricatives. Now I'm just going to show you something that might be a little difficult. Let's go to me and let's make sure this is decent enough at the back. And now let's press spectrogram. And this one is actually pretty easy. You can see from this little back bit right there, that's an M sound. So we just need to put this here and put this here. And I think you'll get full points for that. Now let's go to... I don't know why that exists. Now let's go to mo and see if it's the same. Yep. So you just want to make sure that there's enough between the green and the red so you can hear. And then we just want to make sure this is where the vowel is nice and full. And then we press OK. And the same with ya. Move this a little over here. And then move this here. And this here. And you got that done. Now I am going to give you a warning. Du. This isn't ru, it's du. So you're going to, and that's off. You're going to treat it like a plosive and not a liquid, even though in English it's not du, it's ru. But it's not a liquid in Japanese. It's a plosive, just like in Spanish. So anyway, when they get the point system set up, I hope that this teaches you how to get the most points possible in Tan独音を設定して. Where the heck did it go? Sorry. Okay, yeah, this was all a joke. All of the information was correct, but this isn't a game. This is setting up a CV auto file. I thought it would be really funny if I went through and pretended that I was a Let's Player just showing off a game and how to get points in it. And I'm gonna cancel this because I love this bank and the autos are fine enough the way they are. They're fine enough, not perfect, but whatever. I am so desensitized to bad autos from my blog right now. But anyway, I hope you like this fun joke. Bye.